Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's Copa America time, baby. Time to talk to Bill McDermott, a little bit of soccer talk. He's somewhere in the building. He's going to work his way up to the microphone.
He should grab a donut on his way.
You know, I haven't talked soccer all morning long. It's probably the first day this week that I haven't started with a little bit of soccer talk. Very excited about the USA's 4-0 victory over Costa Rica. But Bill, you and I were wrong about something.
What's that?
We expected to see a little bit of Darlington Nagbe, maybe a little bit more Christian Pulisic. Didn't
There
really
he sat.
see either
There
one
they
of them.
both sat. Well, and for the first time in months, maybe dating back to the World Cup, Jurgen Klinsmann puts the same first 11 on the field game after game. Highly unusual.
And that's what I found myself as I'm watching the game. I wanted to be angry at Jurgen because I wanted to see Darlington Nagbe. But then they win the game 4-0. And one of the biggest criticisms that many of us fans of the U.S. national team have had of Jurgen is that he keeps putting out different lineups, keeps putting people in the wrong place. And this time he stuck to the same lineup 2 games in a row, and they got the win. And now they got to beat Paraguay on Saturday.
Well, one of the main things about this particular game, Tony, is that Costa Rica has done fairly well with what they have. They're not an immense soccer playing nation. Right. With that being said, they qualify for the World Cup. Now, the goalkeeper they had in the goal the other night is not Keylor Navas, who plays for Real Madrid, went through some Achilles surgery. He'll be ready for the preseason for Real Madrid. However, he was not in goal. He's one of the better goalkeepers in the world right now. So to say that Keylor Navas from Costa Rica is one of the better goalkeepers in the world right now from such a small soccer playing nation, that speaks volumes of where the sport has really become, what has become. But he would have stopped a couple of those goals for sure. But nonetheless, the United States had to have a victory. They had to have 3 points to get back into the competition. They did just that.
What do you think happens tomorrow? Does Jurgen stick with the same lineup again against Paraguay?
Awfully close to it. I think very close to it. Michael Bradley played much better. And as we talked about the other day when we were first started talking about this, I think Clint Dempsey is much better when he comes from a deeper position in that he is not the lone man up top. When he can see the entire field in front of him, I think he's a better creative midfielder than he is a lone forward. And I think that really, you see that in his game. Michael Bradley is closer to Dempsey on those particular occasions. And Jeff Cameron and John Brooks in the back, they are instructed, obviously, by Klinsmann. We don't need long balls to the corner flag. We don't need long balls to the striker playing up there with his back to goal. Get it on the ground, play it to Bradley. He'll be our distributor.
They're calling the U.S. formation a 4-3-3, but I really thought watching the Costa Rica game, it was really more of a 4-4-2 with Dempsey playing more of an offensive midfield position
Precisely.
than a forward position.
That's what it certainly seemed to be. It developed, it was fluid throughout the entire game, but what has to be successful for the United States is that tandem, I think, between Bradley and Dempsey, and it certainly was against Costa Rica.
What else is going on in the Copa America? I saw that Brazil won a laugher 7-1. Are they the favorite right now in the Copa?
Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Colombia right now, and the United States probably in that second area of teams. Right now, the United States is ranked 31st in the world. Excuse me. Paraguay, their opponent's 44th. Argentina is currently ranked first. Brazil's as low as 7, which is very unusual for them. But Argentina coming into this competition because, not only because, but mainly because they have arguably one of the best of the 2 best players in the world right now in Lionel Messi. And when Lionel Messi comes to the United States, he brings the entire show, and he brings the entire 11 players of Argentina to a totally different level.
But Messi's not 100% right now.
He is not 100%. Therein the reason he didn't play in the first 11 the other night. He supposedly is going to play this weekend. But in answer to your question, probably one of the South American countries are the strongest right now.
That would be my thought, although I think Mexico is also playing well. We're talking to Bill McDermott, the St. Louis FC radio analyst. What is on tap for St. Louis FC this weekend?
St. Louis FC plays this weekend, tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, 7:30, Worldwide Technology Soccer Park against the Tulsa Roughnecks, a team that the last time they played on May 21st, they won 5-2, and Irvin Herrera, the El Salvadorian, got 4 goals. Is that going to happen again tomorrow night? Probably not. However, Tulsa had a huge gap, very unusual for teams in this league. They played a game May 21st. Their next game was not till June 4th. But St. Louis FC has been training very hard this week, And I think they're ready for this game. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Tulsa's on a 3-game losing streak. So at this stage of the season, to stay active in the Western Conference playoff setting, St. Louis FC, playing at home in particular, has to have a win.
It'll be a beautiful night for a game. A little bit hot, a little bit humid, but what the heck?
And they may get potential water breaks, as your producer Willie Springer brings me a bottle of water. Thank you, Willie.
He's got you covered.
It'll be like kids soccer, water breaks and orange slices.
If it gets to be below a certain Fahrenheit before the first and second half starts, there are water breaks at the 30th and 70th minute.
Where is St. Louis FC right now in the league standings?
They are tied for 5th place right now. Vancouver is still leading the Western Conference. Louisville leads the Eastern Conference. So it seems that these two teams, at least at this stage of the competition, this stage of the season, are the two foremost teams, not just record-wise, but style of play-wise.
Style of play. Hey, if you want to watch some good soccer, make sure you're paying attention to the Copa America this weekend. Yep. I enjoyed watching the other night the Mexico game in part because they're playing really good soccer right now, and they have a lot of young players, and their fans really bring it. They're just so passionate about the game, and it's one of the things that I think Americans can learn about soccer is how passionate some of these other countries are about their national teams.
And two of the absolute best World Cups, Tony, that have been held since the inception of the event in 1930, 1970, 1986, both of which were held in Mexico, stand way above some of the others. They are tremendously avid, and when you get to Azteca Stadium, where teams go to die to play against Mexico, you are in a cauldron.
There is some talk that apparently the North and South American region, known as CONCACAF, and the South American region, where the Copa America is normally played, that their officials are talking about perhaps doing something like this on a more regular basis, where they use the growth of soccer popularity in the United States to really help grow soccer in the entire region.
They want to link up with the South American version. Sunil Gulati, the president of the United States Soccer Federation, says, no conversations have been held like that. But we would be amenable to doing just that, which means, translation, they have been talking about it.
Oh, I'm sure they've been talking. And they'd be foolish not to.
Of course. And Jurgen Klinsmann is all for it simply because, as we discussed the other day when we were on first, he is about anything that helps his team prepare for World Cup competition and play against difficult competition around the world, and especially if they would come to the United States to play.
Prediction, USA, Paraguay tomorrow night.
USA gets at least a point out of this game for sure, but I think they get 3. I think they are now of the opinion, this team is of the opinion that we are playing at home. We have to show well here at home, and we have to continue to get better as a team simply because of the overall World Cup preparation process for 2018 in Russia.
And they should advance even with the tie, correct?
Positively, yes, sir.
Absolutely. Bill McDermott, St. Louis FC radio analyst, joining us on the Big 550. Thanks, Bill. Always good to talk soccer with you.
My pleasure, Tony. Thank you.
You're listening to Tony Messenger on the Big